Night of the Comic. Could you guys hear me just then? Probably not. It's because my mic.
I could hear you say Night of the Comic.
Yeah, I was muted because I'm a genius. From the Night of the Comic. If you're a patron, thank you very much. Your support means a whole lot to us. And if not, consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/NOTLP, probably where you found this podcast. Jason and Dave are here.
You're getting really good at talking fast.
I like to get the boring stuff out of the way.
It's not boring.
And get into the exciting part, which is that Jason spilled water everywhere.
Hear this. This is the cup I drink out of. Look at this giant damn thing.
Giant man thing.
And when I knocked it over, it literally just spun in a circle.
I get excited about like when the mail comes. You know, I get really excited.
Do you bark at it?
Oh, okay.
No, I don't bark at it. And when the garbage man comes, he just came a little while ago.
Hey, my garbage guy is picking it up right now.
Yeah, I just had my garbage.
So when we spill water, these are the events now that make things very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I worked in my yard today. I got a blister. Yeah. You can't really see that
Jesus Christ.
There's a Band-Aid on that.
Oh, that's a Band-Aid.
Band-Aid. I thought it was this giant mountain of flesh popping out.
Might have to go to a doctor for that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's an ugly thumb anyway. I don't know if you can tell, but this thumb was my hammer abuse thumb when I learned how to build things when I was a kid. And
cool.
it's permanently deformed.
Really?
Yeah.
The hammering often, or just one? Did you give it one big,
Well, the main thing was a sledgehammer took it. I don't know if you could tell, but that thumbnail is all lumpy and gross.
Good Lord. Yeah.
That's
creepy. You have a werewolf thumb.
Yeah. One time I hit it with a sledgehammer and there was a perfectly square black bruise in the shape of a sledgehammer under the nail.
Yeah.
It was gross.
But then why did it get all like bumpy?
Yeah, it's just the scar tissue basically.
Oh.
Yeah, and it'll never be normal.
Wow.
Even when the nail grows back in, because I've done everything I can with it. I've filed it down to where there's no nail practically. It's it's disgusting. Yeah, it's real disgusting.
Was her name Normal? Was that her name, Normal, from Garfield?
Normal. He kept trying to mail her to Timbuktu, remember? Is this our Garfield episode?
Does Timbuktu still exist? Is that still a place? I think they've changed their name to some kind of republic.
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question.
Is this just going to be like an educational episode
anymore? Huh?
This is just like an educational episode.
Yeah.
Hey. So I'm here for.
He's here to educate. Here to educate.
Yesterday, I worked in the comic room with my son, and I am in a lot of pain right now.
You worked in the comic room?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Remember I told you how I'm switching up my comic room?
Yeah.
Is Freddy drawing right now?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, though.
Don't let it distract you. Just keep going. Working.
Maybe we should talk about his thumb.
That's Garfield.
Comic room worker.
I'll give you an A for effort, my friend.
I don't know Garfield.
How do you not? He has two giant big eyes and whiskers.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, the eyes right there.
But you know that Normal gets sent to Timbuktu.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
But I will say this. Drawing from memory is a massive challenge for some and not an issue for others. And me and my buddies were compiling a drawing from memory zine where we would challenge each other. We would just say, like, you have to draw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder, and then we would all draw Shredder without using any references, and it was very funny.
It's like Nailed It, but for artists.
I guess so.
We could start a whole show based on your idea.
That is one of the best. That is one of the best shows ever, by the way.
Nailed It is pretty great. It always cheers me up.
I don't know what it is.
It's a baking competition show, but
baking show.
It's purposely like bad people, like people don't know how to bake.
And they'll give them like a cake that is like very elaborately designed, characters and stuff, and they have to recreate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking hilarious.
This is a great episode.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they always turn out like monstrous.
You know how like
Yeah.
some people say that like listening to podcasts are just like hanging out with your friends?
No.
That's what this is.
No.
This right
This
now.
is work for me right now.
I was just standing out in my backyard like Tony Soprano in nothing but a pair of shorts and my slippers, watering my lawn with a handheld sprayer.
What else have we not covered? We haven't covered water tanks this episode yet, and we haven't covered our lawns.
I just put
Does
down.
anyone have anything to say about their lawns?
Yeah.
You know, I got that new lawnmower last week.
Yeah, how'd it go? You said it was like
It's like a knife through warm butter. It is beautiful.
That's awesome.
What
I use
brand is it?
Patchmaster, by the way. Have you guys ever used Patchmaster?
Patchmaster to like fill patches in your yard.
Yeah, it sounds like a porno name though, right?
But no, I have some patches I need to fix. What's going on?
I saw the newest Patchmaster movie.
No, I legitimately need to know about this Patchmaster.
Okay, it's like seed and fertilizer and everything all mixed together. It's got like the consistency almost like cotton candy or something.
Yeah, is it made out of recycled paper?
Probably. I think some of it is.
The paper never fucking goes away. It's going to be 3 years and that paper's still going to be there.
Oh, Jesus, what have I done?
And what, you put that over your patches?
I did it at my old house and the paper just never fucking left. It was a nightmare. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah,
it's like, I think there's paper. I don't know if there's paper in
So
it.
does your lawn start growing the
mine
newspaper?
was basically made out of paper.
Yeah, you start growing newspapers, but they're great old newspapers.
Yeah.
Like yellow journalism stuff just starts sprouting out of your lawn. Stuff like about Hearst.
Man lands on moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's
Okay,
up with
so
comic
tell us
books?
more about your filler.
I spread it around and I watered it. I watered the hell out of it. It's hot here. You need a lot of water because it keeps evaporating.
It's hot here too.
I want my dogs to have a soft place to pounce.
Mm-hmm. Who doesn't? Yeah.
That's where Patchmaster comes in.
Yeah.
Is somebody?
So if you're listening now, please donate Patchmaster.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hey, who would you say is? This is an open question. I asked this to Justin, and he got all uppity about it. Top 5 greatest X-Men artists of all time.
Oh, those are pretty simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go Burn. Right? It's a gimme.
That should be everyone's number 1.
And then maybe mine is debatable. All right. So then I'm Silvestri. And then
I think that's
Jim
a comic
Lee.
reader's choice right there.
I've got 3 for you. That's it.
Okay.
You know what? Terry Austin and
Well, Terry Austin was the inker on Burn.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just got 3 for you.
Okay, so 2 artists and an inker. Great, thanks.
3 of mine are Jim Davis.
No, I said 3. I said Byrne, Silvestri, and Jim Lee.
Ah, yes, naturally, Jim Lee.
Yeah. What about you?
I'd agree. I mean, I know it's sacrilegious to not say Jim. Jim Lee would be number 5.
Okay.
I'm curious as to what Freddy's drawing.
This is Wolverine.
What about Art Adams?
Well, he really wasn't an X-Men artist. He did the annuals with the X-Babies, but other than that, he didn't do a fucking issue, did he?
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah.
He did a lot of the X-Men
That's
classic.
why I think the qualifier was that you had to do a long-term run, not just a single issue. Because if you just did a single issue, then like Barry Windsor Smith is up there because X-Men 205 is my favorite X-Men comic ever.
Freddy, you're missing some major points. Like you don't remember like the 2 giant points coming off of his head.
I like that he's saying Bub.
He says Bub.
There you go.
Here's
You know the irony of this, and Freddy, this is not putting down your artistic ability. That looks more like Garfield than your Garfield.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
if you would have drawn that, I would have said that's Garfield.
Yeah.
This is Professor X.
So I would also, and this is one that Justin debated me on, Dave. I would maybe put John Romita Jr. in that.
He's a Wolverine artist.
John Romita Jr. had a huge run on Uncanny.
When? After 300?
Before 300 and after 300. He did 183, the classic Colossus versus Juggernaut fight.
Oh, yeah. Duh. Okay.
He did like the, God, I don't know how long. Yeah, he did up to like 200.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Sorry.
And then after 300 also, he did some good stuff too. He was on there when Colossus's sister died.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, because if you're going to talk about X-Men run artists, maybe there really are only 5 between issues 1 and 300 anyway. So it's kind of like it's like saying, who's the best writer for the X-Men? Well, obviously it's Chris Claremont. He wrote
that's not even
issues.
If you ask that question, you'd have to ask it besides Chris Claremont.
Yeah.
You guys remember Leonardo da Vinci's run on the X-Men? It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, he's great. He falls in the Silvestri era.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
He drew that.
You know who?
All the arms and the legs.
Okay. Always outstretched.
Arm and leg man.
You know who rarely gets mentioned in that though, Dave?
What?
Jack Kirby.
Yeah, I don't think his best. I don't think his best. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I'm sorry, if you sit down and read those first few issues of X-Men, they're not great.
No, and it's not his best work either.
No, it is not.
Was it a favor?
I mean, that was when he was doing like 6 or 7 titles.
Yeah, like I feel like maybe it was just a job.
And X-Men was like, people always seem to forget sometimes that X-Men at first was a very low-selling title. So they took him off of that real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to...
If you want to see like Kirby's best work, any moment where he's drawing Galactus or the Fantastic Four, that's when you're going to get the best shit out of him.
I'm not trying to start a controversy here.
Yeah.
But anytime the Professor X Magneto comparison of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. gets brought up, have you seen that's a pretty reoccurring thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That Magneto's like Malcolm X, Professor X is like Martin Luther King Jr.
I've never heard it, honestly.
Oh, really?
Personally. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
The thing that bothers me is that I hear that a lot, and there was a lot in like documentaries and like little interviews, and Stan Lee would always kind of take credit for it, but when you go back and read those issues, there's nothing like that in those early issues. It is just straight up, I'm a supervillain and I'm here to crush the White House.
Yeah, people started reading into what they wanted to see, I think, and then from there.
Well, I think later on, like Chris Claremont and stuff started doing that. I agree. Where
I might have almost feel like that might have been the cart after the horse thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was already out there, kind of like how George Romero used to do with Night of the Living Dead, where he was like, for years in interviews, he's like, we never really intended it to be political. It just kind of worked out that way.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, this is my work of political genius.
Yeah.
I did all this on purpose.
Whoops-a-daisy, I just tripped and...
Yeah, it's like if you think of Jim Davis's Garfield Loves Lasagna.
Yeah.
They say that the lasagna represents the environment now.
Oh.
Yeah, I know he got in a lot of trouble for some of his lasagna opinions.
Yeah.
I would love to go through like a couple volumes of Garfield just with like that in the back of my head. I bet it's the best prose on earth.
Pick your metaphor in advance before you've read it of what stands for what, and then read it and reinterpret it. That makes Garfield endlessly rereadable.
Right? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That might have to be an assignment for us, and then we come back and talk about
You know what? I don't know if I can get in on that one. I've reread Garfield recently.
Wait, you can't read Garfield?
Yeah. Oh, that's
you're hosting.
funny.
You're leading that entire show, my friend.
Yeah, Dave can be John, and you can be Garfield, and I can be Luke, so I don't have to say anything.
All right. Well, first off, Freddy, it
But
was
by
your
accident, I'm
idea.
just gonna yell Alvin the
Yeah.
whole time.
I can stand by and just enjoy the show. I loved Garfield as a kid. I would get them from the library, the collections, and I
Yeah.
would always have those and Peanuts. And
I was more of a Heathcliff
You would
man.
eat peanuts while you read Garfield in your bed.
at night, I would read Garfield and Peanuts. Did you say I would eat Peanuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would check Peanuts out from the library and eat them.
Return them when you were done. What was your favorite Garfield book? Because mine were always the TV animated special ones because they did comic book versions.
Halloween. Yeah, Garfield's Halloween, where he goes to the little island and meets the scary old guy that looks like he belongs in heavy metal and not in a Garfield cartoon.
And then he like murders all those kids.
I remember that. Yeah.
Pirate ghosts. Yeah.
It turns out Jim Davis was trying to tell people where his victims were buried.
That's, those ridiculous reality TV shows where they look for fucking bullshit and never find it.
Yeah, like Room 237.
So Jim
God,
Davis's books are a chronological like cipher to be translated. Wild goose chase across the United States to find dead bodies.
We come back to Leonardo da Vinci and the Da Vinci Code.
Off this wonderful topic, I brought up to the both of you how I recently got that.
Yes.
Yeah, did you read it?
No, because again, my comic room's all in shambles. So hopefully after today it'll be fixed, and I want to reread it from the beginning.
So,
do you know the irony?
Tell everybody what it is in case they're not watching the video.
Oh, that's issue 18. That's issue 18 of Pitt. So anyone who
you had to hunt down, right?
Yeah. So the irony of this is,
and again, backstory one more time. Sorry, Pitt wants to kill Bill Clinton, and this is the follow-up.
Yeah, this is like the one where, like I said, I refused to move past it. Because obviously I had every issue except for 18. So the irony is, Dave can attest to this, and I probably have done it on this show. I make fun of 90s comics sometimes, not the people anymore, but the whole trend of them. And let's face it, it was a pretty interesting time for comics.
Yeah.
Needed some coffee there.
Mm.
Long story short, I ended up spending like almost $15 for this single issue of Pitt.
What? That's
which
nice.
is more than I have spent on some of my major comics.
Was that the discount price at work too?
No, I had to order this on eBay.
Oh, okay.
That's why I spent that.
I was hoping this comic was worth $35 and you had to pay $15.
Jason, is there a picture of your entire family with Bruce Campbell behind you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, my son's not in there.
I like it. It almost looks like an Olin Mills picture because of the background.
Wait, speaking of Horror Hound, did I mention before when we were talking about drawing? Do you remember the Freddy Krueger drawings I did at Horror Hound?
I still have it down there in my basement.
Do you remember Pennywise and Freddy like hanging out by the pool?
Yes, that was the greatest moment in my entire life.
It was really fun.
Steady Krueger. Frederick.
Frederick Krueger, yeah.
All right. Pitt.
No, I was just saying, like, I can't believe I actually spent that much money on an issue of Pitt.
I can.
What happened? I bought a shovel yesterday and broke it immediately. So it was about
break a shovel.
Brute force. I was trying to dig up a tree stump.
Yeah.
And
I got a rake, a really nice rake at the Home Depot.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Did you go to Home Depot?
Huh?
Did you go to Home Depot?
I did. I left my house and I went to Home Depot.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Pre-riots, so like a week and a half ago. I think they're all closed up now. But anyway, I got a rake and like an hour into it. And it's made out of fucking Teflon and like mighty steel and all this like fucking Conan bullshit, right? Make a long story short, it just broke in half. So, and then it's almost like, when you break bamboo over your friend's back
Oh,
It
I
Sure.
doesn't actually
exactly.
break.
Yeah.
It just kind of like splinters. That's what this rake is doing. So I can still use it, but then I put any pressure on it and it bends in the middle.
What
Some
what
bullshit.
the hell are you? How do you two do yard work that you're just breaking brand new tools?
Have you seen us? Look at us. We're
That's
fucking
true.
fantastic. There's an example of a man before you.
I made it through 2 tree stumps before I broke it. So to be fair to the shovel.
Yeah.
Hey, Freddy,
Yeah.
Fucking
didn't you
tree
mention
stump.
something about the comic which They Live?
Yeah. We were going to talk about that last time. I totally forgot.
Yeah, I mean, I know the listeners really want to hear about rakes and shovels.
Yeah,
They
you're
do.
probably right. I'll see if I can find some pictures of my broken shovel. And, yeah, because that's what people want.
What's that say about our modern? And it's not just you, Freddie. But like, did your shovel break and you decided I need to take a picture of this?
I didn't. It's out there still. I can still take a picture of it. I was thinking about taking it back and exchanging it and be like, I made it through 30 minutes of yard work with this and
Yeah.
it shattered.
I would appreciate it, and I think the world would, if we just changed up this episode's artwork just a little. You can send me the picture of the broken shovel and the logo, and I am going to recreate some new artwork for this episode. If that's
All
okay
right.
with everyone.
That sounds good to me. I'll do that.
It might delay the release though to
Yeah.
like mid-afternoon.
Well, that's all right. I can do it. I can, fill the time somehow, I guess. I'll figure something out.
Masturbation.
Or I could work. I do have a job. I could
Oh,
probably.
look at that! I can zoom in on that.
Can you?
Eclipse Comics put that out.
Here you go. I can zoom in so you can see the whole panel if you want.
Oh wow, look at that.
You know, I always heard, and now I will say that They Live is like one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, me too.
It's great.
I've always heard rumor that it was based on a comic, but I didn't know what comic.
Yeah,
Well,
you know.
No,
Right when you set this.
I'm the opposite. They Live has always been one of my favorite movies of all time, and I had never heard.
I guess
that it was based on a comic ever.
Holy shit, that changes everything. You're right. That means it has to be included in favorite comic book movies now.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
weird.
there you
Well,
go.
all right, so let's hear from Freddy to see how actually like loyal the film is. Is it loosely?
Oh, I
based,
read this.
You know, like is it like?
First off, it was a short story by Ray Nelson, Ray Faraday Nelson, who
I
wrote.
might be honest, I have no clue who that is.
This is probably the only story he's really known for, and it was called 8 o'clock in the morning. When Bill Ray adapted it, he changed the name to Nada because the main character's name in the story was George Nada, and he thought Nada seemed like a better title because the guy he's just an average guy. He's a zero. So Nada.
I see.
Right off the bat, and I'm sorry, maybe I'm putting you on the spot. Is this the same Bill Ray of Ren and Stimpy fame?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't bother looking it up. Maybe.
I don't know. Some of the artwork was pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
Because and the stuff he does now is like photorealist, expressionist paintings. I don't know. You guys should look for him on Instagram. He's an amazing artist.
I 100% will.
Yeah.
That'd be worth confirming, though. Maybe we can find out.
Yeah. Anyway.
So it's told, you can see it's told in first person, essentially. And the story, I love the way he draws the characters and everything in this. But the story is actually pretty close down to the closing scene from the film where the lady straddling the alien. So that's in here. So I always John Carpenter came up with that moment, but it's
really,
yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty.
I would say one of the biggest differences would obviously be how the aliens look.
Yeah.
The aliens in this story are like literally straight up like classic old school 1950s.
Like Martians?
Like sharp teeth and tentacles and multi eyeballs and.
Yeah.
Wonder if it'll let me if I can find. Uh,
I guess the other big difference between between the short comic and the movie would be the comic kind of starts with the main character just flat out like saying he knows that they're amongst us.
Right.
Or obviously in the movie, it was an awesome discovery.
It's an
It's a shame.
awesome
It's a shame that
discovery.
Piper never got like another movie role like that.
I think they tried. Like, I think
They
that at the
did.
time, it's weird. When we look back on They Live over the last few years and how it's criticized and analyzed, it's like it's more an art film than a B movie, right?
Sure, I
Right.
agree
But
with
I feel
that.
like at the time that it was made, no one took it very seriously.
I agree with that 100%.
So then Roddy Piper gets roles like, what was that fucking movie, Frogmen?
Hell comes to
No.
Frogtown.
Right?
Wasn't
So to a
prior
lot of
to-
people, unfortunately, I feel like that, They Live was on the same level as Hell Comes to Frogtown. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And on top of that, people aren't going to take the movie seriously because Roddy Piper's in it. So he
yeah,
couldn't
right
be
there,
a serious,
right there,
like,
Dave. Look at that.
thought-provoking movie.
Dave,
Well,
look
I
at
will
that.
say this: they look pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like the art is great. They look really, really cool.
I try to find like a physical copy of this. It's kind of a challenge.
Oh, really?
But you can
I
read
think the other difference, now,
comic
correct me here, Freddie, since you read this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the impression in the story that maybe the main character was insane?
Oh, it felt a little more like maybe they may have left a little bit of that open in the story, but it doesn't have like the same setup as the film where he's kind of this drifter character and all that backstory. So it leaves a lot more about his motivations and who he is up to your interpretation.
Yeah, to me, it seemed a little bit more like when I got done with it, I was like, was he just insane and seeing stuff?
Yeah. I think that was the success of Total Recall. They did it just enough to make you go, wait, maybe he is, dreaming. And
See,
I
I get that,
never
but
necessarily got, like, as soon as like Roddy starts going on his rampage, you're like, yeah, I'm fucking behind
Sure.
you. It's on. This is real. This is what's happening.
And it feels
I feel
like it happens like that though, because
yeah, it does.
Amy just watched it for the very first time a few weeks ago, and she's like, "Wow, he just jumped right into shooting everybody." And I'm like, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He is upset.
But yeah, it would have been nice if there was just a little bit stronger element of that made you maybe second guess what might be happening.
Yeah,
in that movie.
that
see,
could
now hold on. Now you just brought up a topic there, Dave.
I did.
About it has nothing to do with comics, but the Total Recall thing.
Right.
I never knew that was supposed to be a thing up until about 5 years ago.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. I didn't until I became about 20 years oldish. I saw Total Recall in the theater with my dad, which was a wonderful, awesome experience. But yeah, like that is one of my favorite films of all time.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I think up until my 20s, until I started really criticizing and looking for deeper meaning in film, it never really. Yeah.
Okay, so then, so do you
Podcast.
think it was all in his head?
It would suggest that the filmmakers, they tell you at the end that he's dreaming, because they use the dreaming motif just before the credits roll.
Mm.
So
I don't know. See, that
I want it
bothers
all to
me.
be real, personally.
Yeah, that's what it
want
is.
all
Where
to
I
be
think that
real.
bothers me, because then it's like, well, then what's the point of me watching this?
Yeah, yeah, but it upsets me. Yeah, but at the end,
I
you
hate it
you
when
can interpret that whatever way you want to. But the soundtrack is the motif, the light.
No, you're
motif
right,
for
and
him
like it
dreaming
lines up with like
plays right at the very end.
yeah.
That could have meaning, and maybe it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it could just be a musical choice.
Right. It could just sound really cool and a great way to end.
Okay, well then here's the other hot topic movie debate. Does Travis Bickle die at the end of Taxi Driver?
I haven't seen that movie since I was 10.
Oh, for God's sake!
But I saw the Joker.
And you've seen it.
Joker's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
That kind of shocks me.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. He goes in and blasts up everybody, right? And then does he get shot?
I thought everyone here was.
Like,
I thought everyone here was know that movie really well.
I've seen it a couple of times, but not recently.
I thought every young man went through a taxi driver phase.
Yeah, I had the mohawk and the gun.
Okay.
Sure, you put on a flak jacket.
I had the child prostitute friend.
We all did it.
My parents were like, "It's a phase."
It's a screening process. You had to bring in the underage prostitutes. Like, so what are your qualifications to be my friend? You know what? You convinced me. I'm going to kill a politician because of you.
It's fun to watch.
Well, then never mind. I thought I could have this discussion because I've had this debate with other people. Apparently,
we're having this discussion.
There's a debate on whether or not he dies at the end.
Around his beard. They should be called.
I thought he died in the end.
Well, I mean, the movie ends with him driving a taxi cab still, and the debate on whether or not that's like a dream or that's like him dying.
I gotta watch it again.
Yeah.
I like that movie. I'm not like a super.
I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
You never saw The Fly?
You've never seen The Fly?
Everyone's seen The Fly.
Yeah, why did you just say that?
I've seen The Fly. It's a Kids in the Hall sketch.
Oh.
They just go on and on and on.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, you got us. All right.
Yeah, it's another.
Did you hear that they're supposed to be coming back on the Amazon Prime?
Yeah. Excited. We used to rewatch Kids in the Hall over and over again, but I feel like I should have gotten your Fly joke.
It's okay. What was your favorite Kids in the Hall?
Oh, me personally, I love the movie Brain Candy.
I love that damn movie.
I've watched it so many times. I constantly, whenever someone's name is Chris, I'm always like, Chris, you said the drug was ready.
Did you see the miniseries, Hell Comes to Town?
I feel like I did, but I don't remember it.
It's very good.
I'm going to have to watch it again.
As like a diehard fan, when it first came out, like the first episode starts and it's all Bruce McCullough, doing a PSA to the Olympic Committee, trying to convince the Olympic Committee to move the Olympics to their like shithole town in, Northwest Canada. And and like that sequence is fucking amazing. And then that ends, and then and then after that, I never had that momentum and that joy. And I was like, oh, I guess it was good. And then I rewatched it, and I was just like, this is the most fucking genius work.
What is it?
Death Comes to Town.
What shows?
Yeah.
It's Kids in the Hall. They did a revival. God, that's been a while now, huh?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
One of the kids in the hall regularly comes here and works with our improv troupe in Cincinnati.
Really? Which one?
Kevin.
Kevin,
yeah. Yeah, I got some friends.
Oh, that talks like this?
Improv.
Yes.
Yeah. Just shake your hips. Would you mind shaking your hips for our audience tonight? I'm a scientist, ma'am.
I'm more a scientist than a shaker.
Such a small sketch that there goes that weird echo again.
Yeah, I hear too.
I don't.
No, I don't want to talk.
It's because we have
You're about to say.
Ethan and I have to use the canine.
One of the sketches that sticks out to me that it's such a small one from the show was when it was just people sitting in a diner and two airline stewardesses come running in. Does anyone here know how to fly a plane? And like one guy sitting there just says, I'll give it a shot.
You remember the guys that ate so much Kraft dinner they got tapeworms?
Yeah.
And they
won a contest and they got tapeworm food.
Yeah, to keep their tapeworms alive. Oh God. I gotta go to work real soon. So any final thoughts on our
Here's my final thought.
tight
Think of
oh my
topics.
God, it sounds like a wall of humans talking.
Yeah, I literally can't even hear anything.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it better?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So weird.
Okay. I was going to say my final thought is maybe we should think of topics next time.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear that. That was craziness.
Yeah, it's back now.
I have to
can't hear
bow
it
out
anymore.
or something. We can record like this.
Are you wearing headphones, Dave?
No,
That might be part of it.
you're part of it.
Yeah, you're probably causing it. You're probably the cause. I think you're the cause, though. Maybe you should wear headphones.
Maybe.
We were getting rambunctious and loud, and we were feeding back through your computer.
Headphones are for sissies.
Oh, look at those. Jason's beard has headphones, even.
He just plugs them into his hair. It vibrates through his skull and creates sound.
It's like a spider web.
It's amazing. All right. I got to wrap it up, though. I'll talk to you guys soon.